Hey guys, welcome to the video. This video is about a DPF on a Peugeot partner van, but this will apply to DPFs on literally every diesel out there. Guy's come to me, he's been to 2 DPF places to have the DPF cleaned, and he's brought the car to me. I do more sort of diagnostic work type sort of stuff. He's come to me, and I found that there's been an underlying fault which is causing the DPF to block up in the first place. But the video is really just to sort of try and help people out really in terms of just because your DPF is blocking up, there's only 1 or 2 reasons that a DPF can block up. The first being if you do like really short journeys, say you're doing 5-10 minutes, the DPF regeneration cycles when they kick in are going to take 15 to 20 minutes. So you're never going to complete that cycle. As soon as you start the car again, it will try and regen, but it will never complete it, so it will block up. But if you're doing, say, half-an-hour journeys, at least, say, twice a week, then there's an underlying fault that is causing your DPF issue. But in terms of the customer that's come to me, he's been to 2 different DPF cleaning specialists, apparently. That one charged him 350 quid and the other charged him like 300, and that was literally to take the DPF off, from what I could see anyway, and just clean it. And they've done a freaking royal job, because I don't know if they put this into an oven or they've done some sort of heat treatment on this to try and clean this, because the DPF is now started to like delaminate and crack like down here. So that DPF is knackered. I've had to go and buy him another one. So that's a brand new DPF that will go on the car. But there was an underlying reason why this Peugeot partner was going into DPF mode, coming up with a DPF fault. It turns out on the turbo activator, there was a slight split in one of the hoses. Well, the hose that goes on the vacuum on the actuator. So that would have caused DPF not to regenerate, because if you've got a DPF and it wants to regenerate, if there's faults that are current on the car, it won't do it. There's a fault table in the ECU, and that needs to be clear of any existing underlying faults before it will complete the DPF regen. And that's assuming that you're doing, like I said earlier, over 15-20 minute journeys. So just, if anyone is really struggling with a DPF issue, and they may have been somewhere, they may not, I don't know, before you just clean this thing, which is what a lot of people, like, especially like these fast fit type places, or so say DPF specialists, they just take this off, clean it, charge the customer the money, but it doesn't solve the problem. You can need to address the underlying fault that's with the vehicle, and that can be a lot of things. In this case, it was a split hose on the actuator. I mean, it's literally like a £1 hose, about this sort of long. That's now being sorted out, but you could have, say, glow plugs that have gone down. Glow plugs is quite a common one, in terms of if it cannot complete the glow plug circuit, it will stop the DPF regeneration. Other issues could be any sort of issue. It could be like an intake issue. Yes, say you're bringing in excess meter air into the engine. That's gonna stop the DPF from doing its regeneration. DPF's faults in some ways are quite involved, but also on the other hand, they're quite straightforward. Just make sure that there's nothing obvious or any underlying faults before you go, as these guys have done, just literally by looks of it, chuck this in an oven, try and clean it. And then he's gone back twice to different places, and it looks like they've done exactly the same thing. I've had this car literally 5 minutes, and I noticed that the turbo was kicking in about 2,500 revs, but it was kicking in like more harsh than it normally does. And straight away I was thinking something wrong with this turbo. It should be nice and progressive, or progressive-ish, but it wasn't. It was literally like 2,000 revs, bam, 3,500 revs. There was no in between. And then I saw the split hose. I suspect that is the cause of this DPF to become blocked. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you want to see more content, please hit the subscribe button. Cheers.